Hello again. So, I wanted to do the continuation of my last theme, lying, or the lies itself. And I think this one won't be as long, because there's only pretty much one more theme I really want to hit on, and then maybe I'll have another kind of lying pop into my mind. But the one I was thinking about is lying for personal gain. This has to be the most toxic way of lying, which still is very supported by many environments. You see examples of this in everything. You could say many people that sell stuff use a kind of manipulative talk, which is kind of like lying already. Or they straight up lie about the capabilities of their product. Very, very, very much. Like, this is pretty much 50% of the marketing industry. Lying about your product. And I believe this is a very dangerous lie, because it's very easy for people to fall into that. Because you decide in your head, oh, I deserve this. And then you go and sell out your honesty, your authenticity for personal gain, which in most cases is materialistic gain. But consider this, many people also do these kind of lies to gain something from you as a person. A toxic relationship, best gateway for that, right? If your partner keeps lying to you just so you're in a position where they want you to be, like you feel guilty so you help them with stuff, or, well, this is literally called guilt tripping, right? This is manipulative behavior. This is built upon lying. There's also way more examples for this, of course. There is lying for personal gain of a systematic kind. Now you're thinking like, oh, what do you mean with that, Fox? That doesn't make sense. Systematic lying, what do you mean? Like a psychopath? And no, yes, psychopaths are out there, but like if you are a sociopath and lie like this, then you usually don't have any regret or remorse. So it's a different theme, to be honest. Because these people usually lie to themselves way more than they lie to the world, even though they lie to the world a lot. So what I mean with systematic lying, stuff like your news outlet. I'm not saying everything on the news is lies. I mean, there has to be truth in everything. But I'm from Germany, okay? And in Germany we learn a lot about what happened prior to World War II. Because I guess we just love educating ourselves on how many bad decisions we made. The whole propaganda machine behind Hitler, which Goebbels, one of his trusted comrades, was leading, in charge of, that whole machine is made in a way so they manipulate the public eye to hate monger against certain peoples, to support or to make people support a system which they don't actually want to support because they believe in a lie. This is systematic lying on a great scale. And this still happens all the time. I don't want to put up examples of literally this time because there's themes that just aren't fun. And talking about history can be fun because this is already done. Even though, of course, in my mind, for example, I always think back to, my God, how did those people feel? What the hell they had to went through. Like, that's, oof. It can weigh heavy on the chest. But I think it's very needed to learn about history. Because history usually is always repeated. So you have to learn from the mistakes we have done in the past so you can move towards a better future. And if you consider this, humanity has been humans, like in our human form, for around 200,000 years, okay? We started recording history like 5,700 BC. Do you realize how little that is? So we got like 7,700 years of recorded history, which is under 5% of the whole human history. Just consider how many civilizations lost on our way to get here. How many dead languages that people actually used to communicate, to lie to each other thousands of years ago. Many thousands of years ago. And well, I just think that humbling, that's very humbling. But the theme here is lying. And as I said, lying for personal gain can be used by a system. It can be used by a state. It can be used by a propaganda machine. It can be used by the news. So, whatever you believe to be public knowledge, you should always take with a grain of salt. And if you cannot confirm the actual data behind that with your own eyes, but you still use that information as a fact and bring that into the world, you are kind of lying too. You are supporting a lie. Doesn't this remind you of something? Doesn't this remind you of things said in movies? Supporting a system just because you live in it? Not because it's right. I think there's many examples for this. Probably the most well-known example of this would be The Matrix. Morpheus explains Neo that everyone in this system is his enemy, not because they choose to be his enemy, but because they have become so accustomed to a system that they wouldn't know what to do with themselves if that system isn't there to support their existence. And that whole system is built on a lie. Just think about that. It's insane. And we pretty much had this happen in real life. I mean, not digitalized, I guess, but that is what a propaganda machine does. That is what Goebbels did. That is why there's still neo-Nazis. Because they are misinformed. And misinformation like this is so dangerous that it just keeps circling back from generation to generation because they keep teaching it to the next one and the next one. And people literally fall into a trap of misinformation and then get educated in a wrong way. Because consider this, you are all alone. You feel depressed. You are in your youthful years. You have no friends. But then someone is just nice to you. And then you meet their friends. And they are actually all pretty cool with you. By the time you realize they are actually all anti-Semitic, you probably have formed a bond to a few of these people, and it's even harder to let go. And then somehow it sounds like their arguments are valid. You know, because that's perspective. Everyone can have a bad situation with everyone and everything. I could be mugged by a guy from an Arabian country, just as I could be mugged by just some fuckhead from Berlin, like the most German guy ever. And if there's a Nazi nearby and sees this, for the German guys, he won't do anything. He's just thinking, yeah, that's just people, right? And for the Arabian person, he might come up and like go and defend me because I look German. You know, that is fucked up. That is how this kind of miseducation works. It's a self-supporting belief system of manipulative thinking, of wrong realities merging in as a false sense of community. And that's insanity. I think, like, there's a very nice quote. I sadly don't know from who it is, and I also cannot paraphrase, like, I cannot phrase it correctly. I can only paraphrase it this way around. And that would be, a single person, a single individual, is always nice and good to be around, and intelligent enough to make the right decision. At least for themselves. But as soon as you group people up, as soon as they become a collective, the masses get very off the rails. Because there's not anymore one consent of this is right or this is wrong. But instead, it's a mishmash between all these different emotions people had, all these different situations and moments they had to bring them to the point where they are now. So I believe if you go with the masses and think the same way as the masses around you, you probably are already lying to yourself. I'm not saying it is easy. I mean, standing alone in a room of 100 people and feeling alone because you just know you think differently, that's also insanity. Can make you go mad. But, well, at least to me, I would rather be honest with myself and all alone for my whole life instead of following a belief system that I can't support morally. And I believe many people have kind of lost that bravery. Just make up your own mind. People still say this nowadays, of course, but do they mean it? If someone tells you to make up your own mind, did you often feel like he's serious about it? Like like he actually expects you to make your own choice about something? Many people can't even handle that. They will still go back to a pattern and then think that is my choice, that is the right choice. But did they ever really listen into their heart? Not just their intellect. I mean, yes, in school it's taught it's wrong to do that, it's wrong to do this. But going into your heart space and actually finding what is morally alright for you is a very different thing than just to go through patterns in your head and think, yes, this is right, this is wrong, murder is wrong. And yes, murder is wrong. In pretty much every case. And still there's people going to the army in literally almost every country around the world, ready to shoot a person. This should make obvious that there's many wrong belief systems which you don't realize until you actually reflect on it. So yeah, just a finishing touch. Stop lying to yourself and start reflecting on what it is that you actually want to be true, that you actually think is real and good in that sense, or bad. And heck, if you see something that you dislike or you think is morally not okay, say something. The world needs more like this, more honesty, more direct retribution for what people do. So, one more kind of lie, which is a very heavy one to hit on, so I won't say this, I won't talk about this that much, but have you ever thought about indoctrination? Indoctrination can be many things. As I said before, manipulation of media can already be indoctrination, but the indoctrination I talk about here is religious beliefs. You probably heard about ISIS. They actually believe they are right. That it's for God to go and kill someone. That they will get rewarded for this. It's madness. And this is only a very, very one-sided example of this. There's many more sides to indoctrination, which I don't want to start out here, but I think you guys can all reflect on this by yourself. So, yeah. I think this time I actually said everything I want to say. And nice, there is no siren to be heard. But I will still stop here. Since this will be uploaded on Monday, I wish you all a great start into the week. I hope you can bring some love and honesty into the world, and I hope you can also receive love and honesty. Namaste.